Students, let's discuss a very important concept, that is the concept of sex determination in birds. In birds, you will see there is a chromosomal mechanism of sex determination, and that is known as ZZ-ZW chromosomal mechanism of sex determination. So, in birds, we say that there is ZZ-ZW chromosomal mechanism of sex determination. So we say that birds in birds the sex is determined by the sex chromosomes of ZZ and ZW type. Now we say that in birds you will see the males, the male birds have a chromosomal formula of AA. It represents the homolog sets of the autosomes plus ZZ. This is the chromosomal formula of the male bird. Male is represented in genetics by this sign. So A stands for autosomes, whereas ZZ stands for the homomorphic pair of the sex chromosomes. In case of the mammals, you already studied that sex is also determined by the chromosome. So there is also chromosomal mechanism of sex determination, but there is XX and XY type of the sex determination mechanism. In males, in case of the mammals, you will see the sex pair is heteromorphic, that's XY. But in case of the males in birds, the sex pair is homomorphic, it is ZZ. We have used the letters of ZW in the sex determination mechanism of birds to avoid the confusion with the XX and XY mechanism of sex determination in case of the mammals. So we say that the male bird has ZZ pair of sex chromosomes, which is a homomorphic pair of chromosomes, and it is opposite to that of the males in case of the mammals, where there is XY pair of sex chromosomes, means where there is heteromorphic pair of sex chromosomes. Again, you will see in case of the females in birds, the chromosomal formula will be AA, means homologous pairs of autosomes, plus ZW. This ZW is the sex pair in case of the female birds. So this is the female bird having ZW pair of sex chromosomes, and the female is represented in genetics by this sign. Again, we shall say that when we saw in case of the mammalian females, there is XX pair of sex chromosomes, whereas in case of the avian females, there is ZW pair of sex chromosomes. So again, we say that the mammalian females are homomorphic with respect to the sex chromosomes, having XX pair of sex chromosomes, whereas the avian females or the females of the birds are heteromorphic with respect to the sex chromosomes, that is, they have ZW pair of sex chromosomes. So the mechanism of sex determination in case of the mammals and in case of the birds is opposite in the sense that in mammals the males are heteromorphic whereas the females are homomorphic, but the case is opposite in case of the birds where the males are homomorphic but the females are heteromorphic. After that, you will see when the sex when after that you will see as to when the sex is determined in case of the these birds. First of all, we shall see what will happen in the this gametogenesis process. This is a male bird, and you will see this male bird will form two types of the gametes during the spermatogenesis. It will form A plus Z and A plus Z. So the males show monogamity because they produce the same types of the gametes with the same chromosomal formula. That's every sperm is containing autosomes and only one sex chromosome, that is the sex chromosome. That is the Z sex chromosome. So the males are monogametic in case of birds. Again, this situation is reversed to that of the males in case of the mammals. In case of the mammals, the males form two types of sperms, that's the endosperm A plus Y and gynosperm A plus X. But the birds form only single type of sperm, that's A plus Z and A plus Z. That is, the males are showing monogamity in case of the birds, whereas the males are showing digamety in case of the mammalian males. After that, if we see in case of the females, what will happen during the gametogenesis? There will be two types of the ova formed in case of the females. The one with the A plus Z means one ovum will have autosomes plus Z sex chromosome, and another will have autosomes plus W chromosome. So there are two types of ova formed in case of the avian females, and this is known as female digamety. Again, this condition is opposite to that of the mammalian females. In the mammalian females, there is monogamety, but in case of the avian females, there is digamety. In case of the mammalian females, every ovum is of the same type in terms of the chromosomes. It has autosomes plus X chromosome, whereas in case of the avian females, the what we call it, ova are of two types. One ovum will have A plus Z component of sex chromosomes, whereas another will have A plus W component of sex chromosomes. So avian females are showing digamety or heterogamety, whereas mammalian females are showing monogamety. Now now the question arises that if we see the spermatozoa in case of the birds, all the spermatozoa are of the same type, that's A plus Z. Now if we see the ova in case of the female birds, the ova will be of two types, that's A plus Z and A plus W. So there are two types of the ova, it is digamety. One type of the sperm, it is monogamety. Now the question is that if this sperm fertilizes this ovum, the resultant offspring will have the chromosomal complement of AA plus ZZ, means this will again be a male. And if this sperm fertilizes this ovum, the chromosomal component of the resultant offspring will be AA plus ZW, which would be female. Now there is the question as to when is the sex determined in case of the avian females. We discussed earlier that sex is determined in case of the mammals at the time of fertilization. That is why we also call that as syngamatic mechanism of sex determination, because in mammals the sex is determined at the time of fertilization, whereas in avos the mechanism is different. The sex is determined before the fertilization during the oogenesis, because the females lay two types of ova, that is A plus Z and A plus W. So it is decided during the oogenesis as to which type of the ovum is to be laid, either A plus Z or A plus W. For example, if A plus Z ovum is to be laid, so it is decided during the oogenesis that A plus ZW, A plus Z type of the ovum is to be laid, and it will be fertilized by the ovum, which it would be fertilized by the sperm, which is always A plus Z. So the resultant offspring will be AA plus ZZ, which means it would be male. So it is determined before the fertilization as to which type of the ovum is laid, and it is determined before the fertilization which type of the sex the offspring would have. Again, if it is decided during the oogenesis that A plus W type of the ovum is laid, then it would be fertilized by A plus Z sperm, which leads to the resultant offspring having autosome sets and ZW pair of sex chromosomes, which results in the female offspring. So, in nutshell, it is decided before the fertilization what would be the sex of the offspring in case of the avers. So, we say that there is difference between the time of the sex determination in case of the mammals and in case of the birds. In case of the mammals, the sex is determined at the time of the fertilization, but in case of the birds, the sex is determined prior to the fertilization during the oogenesis in case of the females, as it is decided as to which type of the ovum is to be laid, and which in turn determines which type of the offspring, either male or female, the resultant individual would be.